Hey, what's up, IT Nation? This is Craig Fulton. I'm excited to be coming to you today with our special guest, Ed Viesturs, world-renowned mountain climber. I'm excited to have him. He is coming to IT Nation November 10th through the 12th. He will be speaking on the 11th, and I have him here today. So we're going to get into, what you have to look forward to with Ed. But if you don't know who he is, I've been waiting 10 years for this moment. When he had just finished a big endeavor that he's had, Ed has climbed every death zone mountain. And when we say death zone, that's anything over 8,000 meters. Typically, people do these with supplemental oxygen. There's 14 of them. He's done them all without oxygen. He knows what tough looks like. He knows when to say, not today. And I think it's important that we bring him to speak to our audience because we're all dealing with a lot of those challenges now. And lastly, Ed, before we turn it over to you, he's written one of my favorite books, No Shortcuts to the Top. He's written a lot of books, actually, but that's a great one. You talk about, what it was like on Everest in the, I think it was 96, when the big tragedy struck there. You were in that IMAX film. So Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's really going to be fun to come talk to all you folks in Florida.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Because look, in the tech industry we're in right now, really, COVID has had a pretty massive effect on a lot of businesses, but a lot of tech companies are struggling. They had to be on the front lines helping people go work from home. A lot of people have been, man, this has been hard work. Do I keep going? Is it, what do we do? And you've been through a lot of that. So when you present your keynote, what are some of the things people can look forward to hearing from you?
What I talk about is my journey in the mountains, and in particular to climb the 14 peaks over 8,000 meters. And that was a personal goal that I had. It took 18 years, but to accomplish climbing all 14, I had to go on 21 expeditions. So if you do the math, that's 1/3 of all of my expeditions I wasn't allowed to succeed. And so it was a lumpy, bumpy journey, and it was really hard, and it wasn't always fun. But what I tell people is that if you embrace the process, right, the journey, the doing, the planning, the training, and if you're just willing to deal with the bad days along with the good days, that creates success. I mean, you can give up easily on a rough day or a bad year. But why not push through it? And if you love what you do, 5 years from now, you'll look back on that journey and go, yeah, it was a lumpy, bumpy road, but look what happened. I succeeded. And so that's kind of my message. And also I want to inspire people, talk about teamwork and leadership, perseverance, and hopefully get them out of the room, take them on an adventure. And I think we have a really cool room that we're going to talk to in. So I get to refrigerate the room. We're going to suck the oxygen out. And so people are going to actually get to feel what it's like at, 26,000 feet. So bring your coats.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have some great adventures. I remember reading how often you were on Kanchenjunga, which I believe is India, right?
Well, it's on the border of Nepal and Sikkim. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And, I remember reading you were 300 feet from the top and turned around. That must have been an immense amount of pressure from the team.
Yeah. You have to imagine an expedition cycle is about a year, 9 months of training and planning and preparation. Then you're on an expedition for 3 months. So, and then that final day, you're pushing for the summit, and 300 feet from the top, the conditions got really bad, got thrown a curveball. And we had to make the decision to either continue and perhaps die or turn around and come home alive. And we, what I call listen to the mountain. It told us what to do. And we walked away. It wasn't a failure. It was simply what I call a non-success. And I knew, that mountain was going to be there a long time. And I didn't get frustrated by it. I said, I'm just going to go back again and again and again, no matter how long it takes. And that was, for me, the cool part. Again, it's the journey and the process. And finally, on my third expedition, I succeeded, and it paid off.
Yeah, I think a lot of the audience is going to be able to relate to that, right? Because something that we're dealing with right now is cybersecurity threats. A lot of companies were working, spending time building cybersecurity protection, and then COVID hits, and it's like a mad scramble, change of plans and do that. And and something I took away from a saying of yours is getting to the top is optional, getting back down is mandatory, right? The summit is only halfway, and I've had a lot of discussions with our audience, the ConnectWise customer about that. So I would imagine then these are some great takeaways they'll have from your speech.
Yeah, I hope that works, to talk about just dealing with adversity, being flexible, hoping for the best, but always thinking that something might go wrong, right? And being able to deal with that. That's kind of the fun part for me about climbing, is I can be as prepared as possible, full on ready to go. And then something happens and I'm like, ooh, how do I deal with that? I mean, it makes it interesting, right? Yeah. And I'm sure in business, you don't want things like that to happen. But in everyday life, I think we kind of have to expect something that's going to happen, and then, how to deal with it, how to climb out of it, in essence.
Yeah. All right, switch gears a little bit here. So I'm pretty active on Instagram. I follow you there. I saw recently you've been engaged with the SpaceX program, the most recent, putting some civilians into space. Tell us what that work was like.
Yeah, I got involved. I'm friends with and climbing partners with the commander, Jared Isaacman. And we had done some climbing together for a couple of years on Mount Rainier. And then it ended up that he was going to lead a 4-man crew to orbit the Earth for 3 days. And once they selected his 3 crewmates, he being a climber, said, Ed, I'd love to take the 3 others with us as we go up Mount Rainier. And I have this saying that you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's what he wanted for his crew, to see over 2 or 3 days of struggle and hardship and just dealing with adversity, how they might stick together as a team, right? And true colors come out in adversity. And he said, I want to make sure these guys like each other and can deal with each other, because before we go into space for 3 days, we need to figure this out. And it was an amazing event to take his crew on Rainier. They'd never been camping, they'd never been cold, they'd never had a backpack on. And they're really pulled together as a team. And it was really cool to watch Jared as a leader inspire them, motivate them, cheerlead them on. And in the end, it was a great event. And look what happened. They had a really successful 3-day orbit of Earth. They're still friends. There weren't any bad days for them. And it was a lot of fun to kind of be involved in some certain way with their success.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I love stories like this. I love your story, Ed. I've read so many of your books, and I remember something that stood out to me was the close call you had with a circular saw. You're building the deck right in West Seattle, and then they told me to ask you weird questions, so one was coming. Okay. And just think, right? This whole career could have been over, and now look where it's taken you. Did you ever think you would go from making it to now being involved in a space program? Like, what's that?
No, every day is a fun day. Dealing with adversity has taught me a lot about how to be patient, how to enjoy what I do. I lived a dream, I would say, that I lived the life that I wanted to live, and all the doors that opened because of that. Coming to talk to your team, I never thought 20 years ago I would be doing corporate speaking events. And it's really fun for me because I get to share my experiences and hopefully inspire people, bumping into somebody that eventually was leading the SpaceX team. It's been really fun, and I have no regrets with what I decided to do, but certainly wasn't normal, and I had friends that thought, what, you're gonna leave school and go climb mountains for the rest of your life? And I'm really glad I did what I did. And I like to tell people, live your dream, right? Do what you love, and then it won't matter how long it takes or how hard it is to accomplish whatever you set out to do.
I love it. Love the story. I think the audience is really going to enjoy it. We've got a lot of entrepreneurial people. They're very emotional. I've spent a lot of time with these people, and they love to be inspired. This is their life's passion, so this is going to be a great fit. Ed, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Look forward to seeing all you guys.
Yeah, and those of you tuned in, look, you're not going to want to miss this. Whether you're in person in Orlando, again, November 10th to the 12th, Ed's going to be speaking on the 11th in the morning. You can join virtually as well. You're not going to want to miss this. I might not even sleep the night before. But look, if you're wondering, how do I get signed up for this? Be sure to go to theitnation.com/connect or connectwise.com/connect. Get signed up. Don't miss Ed. Ed, thanks again. And those of you tuned in, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.